Hey everybody, Big Bear, Tony Sandoval. Just talking a little bit on idealism and libertarian-ish ism. There's a lot of talk out there, have people condemning libertarians as being idealistic and whatnot. I think the ultimate idealist in probably, I would say, would be the anarchist. And I'm not saying idealism is a bad thing. We must be idealistic. We must have ideals. That is what gives us our direction. When we strive for things in life, we are striving for an ideal. Whether we successfully achieve that or not is beside the point. The fact is we are striving towards something. We are making the effort to accomplish the ideal. We have to have the ideal to give us direction. Okay? There is practical idealism and there is impractical idealism. To me, an impractical idealism, it would be people who pie in the sky and they live their lives wishing, and hoping and not keeping foot on terra firma, everything should be as they see it in their mind, and that's it, and nothing else is acceptable. That's a very intolerant and unrealistic and impractical approach. I see libertarianism as a more practical idealism. Most of the people I know who identify as libertarians are people who say, yes, these are the ideals. For me, I use the term constitutional libertarianism because I believe in the U.S. Constitution. I believe in the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is why, the Constitution is how. Okay? It is all about individual liberty. It is all about freedom for the individual. The individual has their own value. Society does not determine. The government does not determine. Religious groups, churches, social groups do not determine the value of the individual. It is the individual through their voluntary participation who give value to those groups. That's how it works in America. And that's the way it's supposed to work. It is an ideal, and that is worth working towards, fighting for, making the effort towards. And that is practical. Practical meaning, yes, it's an ideal, but there are things, realistic things we can do to achieve those things. We have to be realistic and say, this is the ideal. We are nowhere near it. Our government has been co-opted by political parties. Political parties serve one purpose, and that's to game the system. Representatives who get elected through political parties are there to represent that party's agenda, not the best interest of all Americans or all people in that state or all people in that city, county, you name it, whatever it is. If they're representing a political party, they're representing that party's agenda first. Okay? That's because they're getting paid. That party is giving them money. They're providing money. They're providing resources to get them elected. They don't expect to do that, provide those things for that representative and not get something out of it. You are beholden to them to do certain minimum things for them, pushing their general agenda. Libertarians say most of the real libertarians that I've dealt with, the practical ones say, really, it's just gaming the system. The system, our elective system, is supposed to be about voting for the best, most qualified candidate. Now, is the best candidate, is the ideal candidate going to be running? Look at the Libertarian Party candidates right now. Darryl Perry, Gary Johnson, Austin Peterson, McAfee. None of them are ideal candidates. Every one of them has got their quirks, some more than others. Oh, and that was whether the doctor, I can't remember his name. He's kind of a, I don't know about him. But anyways, okay, you got these candidates, though, for the Libertarian Party. Libertarian, full of ideals. Minimum government. The government exists simply to enforce, to protect individuals' rights and for the ability of individuals to do for themselves. That's what a government exists for, and that's what the ideal libertarian representative would be standing up for. We don't have that candidate. That candidate does not exist. Okay? So, ideally, again, the logical is if we're going to work from ideals, we say, well, here's the ideal up here. This is on the wall. This is what we strive for. We can't have this because it's not available right now. We're going to be practical and say, what is the very one notch down? What is that? Can we accomplish that? Is that achievable? It's the next closest thing to our ideal. Okay, no, that's not practical. It's not real. What's the next notch down? And you work top down from the ideal, and you get as close to that ideal as you can if it's available, if it's realistic, if it's practical, if it's there. What you don't want to do is say, well, here's the ideal. We want this. But since it ain't there, let's start down here and say, well, if we elect this guy, he'll bring attention and money, and somewhere down the road, with all that new attention and money, we can go back up here. That's not how. That's not. You're compromising your principles. You're compromising your ideals and your values now for money. You're better than no other political party. You are just the same as the Democrats and Republicans the moment you sacrifice working top down from your ideals just so you can get your party spot in the top. Instead of top two, now it's top three. Now you're one of the big three. No, that violates the ideals. And it's all about ideals. We have to have ideals. Ideals give us direction. We have to have them. And you can't abandon your ideals. You can't abandon those principles. We can't abandon the Constitution. We cannot abandon the Declaration of Independence. We cannot. We have to constantly make the effort. Make the effort. It's worth fighting for. Yes, it's going to be hard. We've been co-opted. Yes, it's going to be difficult. Yes, it's going to some days seem damn near impossible. That doesn't mean it's not worth pursuing. The minute we stop making the effort, we have given up. We can't give up. We can't afford to give up. Because then we lose what America is. Too many people have died being not having access to the rights, not having access to the privileges of being an American citizen. They're supposed to have them. Native Americans denied rights because they were being denied as seen as people, and that was a little game that got played. They died staying here. People, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, Mexicans who came up long before the new immigration rules ever existed. They weren't illegal because there was no immigration law to be illegal like that. They came here, they got their butts handed to them in bars, in stores, in the middle of the street, people telling them, you don't belong here, go back where you came from. They believed in being an American. They wanted what that Constitution said they had coming to them. They didn't want to be Mexican American. They wanted to be American. They stayed here despite getting their butt kicked. They stayed here despite being treated like second-class citizens, and they worked, and they were persistent, and they taught their children, this is the goal, the Declaration of Independence. This is the goal, the Constitution. These are what you can have if we stick with this. You can have this. Even if I can't right now, you, my children, can have this. And that's what they did. And now, though people suffered for it because other people wanted to play stupid word games, life is better for them. That was worth the fight. They made the effort. We must continue making that effort. or we're spitting in the face of history. We're spitting in the face and denying the work, the blood, the sweat of all those people who were not given the credibility, the respect right off the bat as they should have. It's not just soldiers who have died and bled and sweated and fought for the freedoms of America and liberty. It's those people who were denied it because somebody wanted to say, oh, well, you're Indian, you're black, you're not a real person. So we're going to get around giving you access to your rights because we're not going to consider you a person. Well, that's a stupid game that stupid people played. It doesn't mean that the rights of the Constitution, that the rights declared, the natural rights in the Declaration of Independence are any less valid. They are valid. But people are imperfect. They were imperfect. The writing was on the wall. The Constitution is up on the wall. Nobody is above that. The Declaration is up on the wall. That is the aspiration. That is the ideal for everybody. Just because some imperfect people didn't live up to it doesn't mean it's not worth working for. And that's what we have to continue. Living up to those ideals, living up to those values. We cannot give up. That's what it means to be libertarian to me. Fighting for those natural rights, fighting to make sure everybody has access to them. Every individual has liberty, has freedom, can live their life the way they want to live, not have some imam or priest or social worker or community organizer or whatever else tell them what they have to do. That's not what it's about. America is not Denmark. America is not Europe. America is not Africa. America is not Asia. You can make the comparisons. Let's look at all these other countries. You can do that all you want. We are not them. We were never meant to be them. We were not meant to be them. Hold them up all you want. That's not us. We're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be different from that. We're supposed to be making our own path, trying this experiment, trying to let people be who they are, not be like the people we just got away from. That's ridiculous. It's not practical, and it does not work to achieve the ideal of the Declaration of Independence in the Constitution. Everybody keeps trying to change those things because they don't live the same thinking anymore. As a libertarian, that's the whole goal. Make the effort. Maybe you don't succeed. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But at least we're making the effort. Get back on that horse. You don't succeed today at being the best person at living up to those ideals. Okay, it happens. Go to bed, get up in the morning, try again. Maybe you do better. If you don't, go to bed, get up, remind yourself what those things are, try again. Every day, make the effort. That's what it's all about. All right, that's my little soapbox today. Libertarian soapbox. Y'all have fun now.